Hi, Leather Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. You know what? I think my cat, Cassie, is deaf. I want to talk to you about that, and I'm going to show you some scenes I shot on the boardwalk yesterday, so stay tuned. Let's go to the beach. Kind of, sort of. I don't want to get sand in my clogs. It looks like the lifeguard stands are open. That's cool. I cannot imagine that it's warm enough in the water for swimming, though. Okay, what I see very odd that never happened before was, do you see that there are two lifeguard stands? That would explain why when I filmed the video, the makeup tutorial, which was the last video you probably saw, why there were two stands next to each other. That is not a normal thing. It's not on this beach. It's not on the beaches of any place I've ever been in California. I'm sure it has something to do with the coronavirus thing. But other than that, yeah, I'm confused. Next time I chat up a lifeguard, I'm going to have to ask why that is. I'm seeing some signs that mention social distancing. I'm going to go back onto the boardwalk and I'm going to show you one of them because I don't want to risk getting sand in my clogs. It figures I find myself in a neighborhood of a 99-cent store and my buddy wants a chocolate bar and they're closing. I'm not really good at this timing thing. Oh well. And I was wondering why they would have only one entrance, thinking especially you would want something more open air for the air to circulate in the age of this virus. But yeah, they're closing up. I don't know what the summer is going to be like here. This is really sad. It is comforting to see more and more people wearing masks, especially since sometimes it's really hard to social distance. And it's even nice seeing some people with medical masks. And by medical, I don't mean surgical masks. I mean real N95s. Look at this overcast day. It's kind of beautiful. I think I'm getting a dirty look by a trumpeter. It's a shame because he's not bad looking in a kind of dangerous classical composer kind of way. Yeah, a lot of trumpeters around. That's a shame. Oh my goodness, I'm about to make the ground score. Look at what I just saw. Look at all these spiral bound notebooks. Somebody in the universe must want me to have them. I'm going to take them. But I got to cover my arms too because I can't be out in the sun. There's no way. Look at this, dude. Dude. You know what? I guess because they're missing a cover, they're going to, the seller, the original buyer probably is going to say that they lost them or something. And they're going to lose, they're going to get a refund. There's a name for this. It's like if you find paperback books without the cover, they were returned to the publisher and they got a refund. And it's a way for stores to cheat manufacturers. But I need notebooks. What a score, you guys. Each of these is a 70-sheet notebook, and I'm taking them home. I've got two big tote bags, one of them to carry my computer. What a score! Sometimes life is good. After I finished putting my 14 70-page notebooks in my purse, a guy I passed by said, "Nice socks." And at first I thought he was just referring to my thigh-high stockings and was being a little pervy. And then I remembered something. I'm wearing red pot leaf socks. So I should be a little bit more polite to people that give me random compliments instead of automatically being on the defensive. I know that's not an attractive quality, but I'm sure you guys got to understand that being a female, who's not exactly a stranger to some objectification, I don't always assume benign intent with people, and I really need to work on that. This is the sign I wanted to show you guys the other day. This is all new. Of course, I don't get out much because I try to stay quarantined. Every time something happens that I brush up against somebody, then I feel like I got to start the quarantine all over again because I know some germy individuals, and I'm just trying to be safe like anybody else. But damn, this is like kind of like a summer day, and it's sad that seeing all these masks, it's proof that we've got a real problem here. And what's our summer going to be like? When can we safely open? When are we going to have dance floors? That's what I want. That's what I miss probably most of all. Being able to go out dancing and chance meeting an attractive human being, uh, being spun around, hearing good music, friendly people. I miss that. I mean, how the heck are you going to make new friends when you have to stay 6 feet apart, especially if your vision's not good and you don't even know if they're cute when they're 6 feet apart? You know, this is just fucking things up. And I know there's a lot bigger casualties than a stupid social life, but come on, I'm talking about what I'm sure half you guys are thinking, that there are definite psychological ramifications to this COVID-19 and stuff. I did not want to admit that it was risking my mental health too, because I kind of have my pride and all that, and ego and bullshit. But it is. This COVID-19 thing, I found out that it is possible to be both depressed and angry at the same time. And I'm usually the kind of person that I'm not depressed. I just respond emotionally to negative stuff. It's not, my sadness is not because of any chemical imbalance. It's because I'm upset at something. If everything's going fine, I have no reason to be upset. I am empathic, so when I hear bad news about sad things happening to people, especially things about like animal abuse and rape and murder and stuff, especially animal abuse, really bothers me. And I know forever traumatized by images I saw pertaining to publicized acts of abuse and stuff, things that you just never get out of your mind. And knowing that human beings are sometimes capable of doing stuff like that, and the fact that there are sociopaths around, the fact that there are people that have no moral compass and have no problem with hurting other human beings, that bothers me. But I'm not a depressed individual. I know I got some cuckoo in my family, but I think probably a lot of people could say that. But with this COVID-19 and how it's causing us to so dramatically alter how we live, there's only a matter of time before it's going to mess with your head. And some people, see, because of the nature of how I work, and I do a lot of my work from home, and the videos I can do either in the house or out of the house, and most of my money-making things often involve internet stuff. So I maybe haven't been affected as dramatically as the people that were always used to going out all the time and they're now having to stay indoors. But still, it's perfectly valid to admit that the emotional isolation of not being able to be in touch with people. Plus, they never think they take into they there are some people that take for granted that, well, if you can't see your friends physically, there's always the internet. What about the people who are not on the internet? There's a lot of old people that have no interest in being on the internet. And if they only have landline telephones and they don't have cell phones, those people can they can honestly really be socially isolated. And then when you hear about people that are losing their businesses and they are so behind in rent that suicide's the only way out, and it's so sad. And sometimes people not only do things to themselves, but they do things to their whole families, and that is so sad. And then there's more animal abuse, and supposedly there are spikes in domestic violence. And uh, I don't know. I don't know. One thing that I know, I'm sounding like a broken record here, doesn't seem to change in this neighborhood, or not in this neighborhood, but in where it's bad, is that the people that are making money off of things like the crack and the heroin and stuff, they seem like they're doing big business. And I'm sure that there's more people that are self-medicating and homeless people. But if you'd have seen like the things that I saw last night, where this girl, she looked so childlike and was being controlled by these five big adult men. Yeah, I'm proud to say I called cops. If that was my daughter, or if that was me, I would want somebody to intervene. And I have not seen any reduction in crime since COVID-19. But I have to admit that it is really, this isolation is getting to me. Not being able to, you have to remember when you see a friend from distance, you're not supposed to hug them and stuff. And sometimes we unwittingly slip up and we do get closer than we should. And then you're thinking, oh, am I exposed now? And if it wasn't for the fact that I have other people to consider besides myself, and that's the thing, is you have to think about, even if you're not worried about yourself, you have to think about other people. I'm thinking about my mother. If anything would happen to her, I would be absolutely devastated. So this is just really to be living here in this resort town where normally this should be packed, there should be people patronizing, many more stores that should be open. Now, I'm looking at my computer, it's 4:54 p.m. That dollar store should be open till at least 7 o'clock. But stores that are normally open until like 9, like the Dollar Tree is, apparently they close at 7. And I realize this is not a weekend, but still, normally stores would be open later if it's a beautiful day because there's lots of foot traffic and things. And there is a healthy amount of people that are enjoying the boardwalk, but this is nothing like it would be if not for this virus. And I'm seeing bicyclists and roller skaters and things. And you saw what the beach looked like. But how are the businesses that are here, and when they finally do open, how are they going to make enough revenue to even survive? How is our nation going to come back after this? We have to. I'm sure we will. But right now, for so many people, it's looking so hopeless. And I feel for them because I don't really see a way out. From the things that I've heard, that I really don't think I'm in a position to talk about, because the last thing I want to do is discourage tourism when we have the quote unquote all clear. But if some of the casinos have employees that are afraid to go back to work because they heard that some of the people that are working on skeleton crew came down with it, which has happened, I won't say which properties, but people are afraid to be exposed. And now I'm hearing that if your job says that they're opening up and they're offering you your job back and you don't take it because you're afraid, I heard that you can get in trouble for that now. Uh, it's really complicated, because if you live with somebody who's high risk, they're elderly, they have extend pre-existing health conditions, you can't expose them. So I don't know how we're going to salvage the summer. I would like to travel to Washington, D.C. for the 4th of July, and I don't know if it's going to be safe for so many reasons. I just hope that we can deal with this. I hope that we don't get flare-ups where people are opening up. I don't know. I don't know what the future is. I still think we haven't hit our peak here, honestly. My last statistics for Atlantic County was, well, I don't want to misquote. I really don't remember, but it's I don't think it's getting better. So I wish you well wherever you're watching this. Greetings. So there's a postscript to the bit about the people that were complimenting me on socks on the boardwalk. Turns out when I went back to the gentleman who I thought had given me the compliment, he wasn't the one that had made the comment. It was a couple, and he'd witnessed the whole thing. And he told me that in fact it was a man and a woman, and one of them was actually being derisive, and they were making fun of me, and they were referring to the thigh-high stockings. So my gut instinct was right all along. So I wasn't just being on the defensive. I could tell that they were being derisive. So you got to listen to your gut because it usually doesn't lie. So, see, I'm not just so cynical after all. I do know what's up sometimes. Check this out. See? See what I mean? So, any of you guys have hard of hearing pets? Do you have any suggestions? Sort of thousands of dollars worth of cochlear implants like Rush Limbaugh has? Uh, Teaching a sign language? What do you do? You know, no matter what, Cassie's my baby girl, and nothing would make me stop loving her. I think you guys know that. That's my baby girl. But now we know why she doesn't freak out about the loud sounds outside the way Tabby Boy does. So, another thing I want to talk about involves my situation with my molester neighbor. And I had thought that I had made arrangements with a certain person who I thought was a friend and a fan. And I don't mean on YouTube. This is not somebody who's on social media. It's just as well, because that means I could talk about him and he won't know about it. But he's somebody who, when I first knew him, I thought he was a lot older than it turns out he is. And he's still older than me, but I thought of him almost grandfatherly. It would gut him if he knew that that was what I thought of him. But he had implied that he used to be a professional fighter, not like famous, but apparently they have underground like fight clubs and stuff. That really is a thing, and he apparently used to do it back in the day, whenever the day was. And when I first told him about what happened to me, my neighbor, he said that he was going to punch him out, or he was going to do this and he was going to do that. And this is before I got to know this gentleman better and realized that he tends to exaggerate. You know, he's like, if he was catching fish, he would tell you he caught a marlin and maybe it was a little trout. Okay, so, but now I know what I'm dealing with. So, but I've been catching this guy in a bunch of lies lately. First of all, I'm pretty sure that he's lying about that cat, SpongeBob SquarePants, that the gypsy. And to reiterate, if you didn't know that story, we know some gypsies. They're actual fortune tellers that work on the boardwalk or close to the boardwalk here in town. And this one lady, her landlord came by, I guess, to pick up the rent or whatever, and had never seen this cat before. And she'd had the cat for 11 years. And the landlord said, well, you got to get rid of the cat. And so what does she do but enlisted the aid of my buddy to do something about the cat. And of course, I'm freaking out thinking he better not take that cat to the kill pound. And I told him as much. Even though, of course, my telling him that means that he will probably tell me anything I want to hear just to get me off his ass. So he tells me that he took the cat to her kids that are somewhere the next town down beach of us. And then supposedly a couple days later, the kids did not want the cat. So then he said the cat was brought to her sister's, who lives close to where she does. So now he told me this whole thing a little over a month ago. And so I asked him yesterday when I was on the boardwalk, and he had actually sent me to one of the dollar stores with $1 and change so that I can get him a candy bar, and the dollar store happened to be closed because everybody's hours are all shortened because, this COVID, if the places are even open, right? So, and this is somebody who a couple of months ago had told me how angry he was if anybody lied to him. He was like, it's a real big deal if you lie to this man. But it seems to me that if you have a problem with people lying to you, then you should understand that maybe people don't appreciate it if you bullshit them. So I can't get a straight answer about what happened to that cat. And the cat really, probably because the cat was an alley cat allies cat that lived in one of those houses, cat houses, and was known on the boardwalk. And I have not seen that cat. If the cat was back in the neighborhood, the cat would have been seen on the boardwalk, and the cat walked within a couple of blocks in either direction, including even getting near me. So, and I have not seen that cat. So many things. My bullshit meter has been going off crazy. And another thing, which has nothing to do with him, that's kind of been bothering me is about certain people who are absolute hypocrites, who say they're all about freedom and things. And some people may even have YouTube channels and have these live streams, and they purport to be all about freedom, and say they have a stream where they're talking about a certain subject matter. Let's just say it's inner city crime and violence. So say I enter the live stream, and these live streams, they have chat rooms and stuff. And I decide to mention some of the shenanigans going around in my neighborhood, which is totally fitting the theme. So then some chat mod tells me that even though they know that what I said was truth, they didn't want to risk his channel getting demonetized, so they took down my comment. And that irked me. It did. It irked me enough that I just said to myself, the hell with this, and I just left the live stream completely because, nobody likes to be checked. Nobody likes to be corrected like they're a 2-year-old. And the comment I made, I didn't use any foul language, even though I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but I would never deliberately do anything to get anybody demonetized. I'm a YouTube creator myself. Why would I want to harm one of my own? That doesn't make any sense. So, but another thing, the more I thought about it, that was getting to me is with some of my creators, my fellow creators, especially once you guys pass the 1,000 subscriber mark and you unlock, if you don't know about how YouTube runs, the more subscribers you get, you unlock privileges, and they include this communities tab where you can actually make comments to people. Aside from just making videos and live streams, you can actually write down paragraphs to let them know. Like, for instance, if I had hit that mark, I could let people know if I was having technical difficulties, and so that I wouldn't be able to make my schedule, I could tell them in advance. Or I can create polls and I can ask people questions and they can vote on them, for instance. So sometimes people have these things they call, you probably heard about, they're called super chats, where you can actually solicit donations during live streams. And I noticed that one of my buddies, or this person I'm referring to, and I would never name any names, really been passing the collection plate a lot lately. And during one of the live streams that I was participating in, just as, a viewer and a commenter, dude must have gotten close to $200. And I'm not acting jealous, because everybody has a right to make coin, especially with what COVID-19 is doing. People are going to be checking all their traps and doing everything they can to pay their bills, right? But I'm thinking there's this person that's passing a hat really almost shamelessly. And people are encouraging each other to, and they want I know you want people's channels to do well, but just some of the blatant consumerism and some of the blatant uh, plate passing, it's just starting to be a real turnoff. Um, I kind of got a little bit upset last night, and I went and looked at all my YouTube subscriptions, not the people that subscribe to me, the people that I subscribe to, because I've been watching YouTube for far longer than I've actually been a creator. You know, you do have to get your nerves up and your confidence up before you start doing that. But I'm realizing that there's so many people that I probably haven't watched in years, and why am I subscribed to people that I don't watch anymore, maybe because I've forgotten about them, or maybe because their content I don't relate to anymore, because we all grow as individuals, and the things that we may have been interested in 10, 12 years ago, we may have outgrown or whatever. So, and I'm thinking, I know that when I look at my list of subs, people come and go. I'm sure that there are people that watch me in the beginning that have gone on to bigger and better things, and I understand that. And you only have so many hours in a day that you can watch programming because you're probably working and have other responsibilities, and I get that. But I kind of went a little, I'm not gonna say I went heartless, but I just went, I don't watch you anymore. I don't watch this anymore. No, I went down, didn't go down the line, but and I was surprised at some of the people that I subscribed to at one time, and agencies and things, that just, I don't have as much time. And I feel kind of bad about that, because as a creator, there's time involved in show prep and outlining an idea of what the thing is going to be about, and then doing the actual filming. And if it involves any kind of editing, then you have all these bits of footage that you've got to put together in some kind of story arc that makes sense and is interesting for anybody that has time to watch it. So I really don't have a whole lot of time to watch as much content as I would like to. So yeah, I had to um, cut back on some of that. But then I've been discovering other content too. One of the things that is really interesting, that I have been getting into these past couple of months, is I've been listening to programming. Some people make videos that last between 8 and 10 hours, and they have subliminal messages, and they serve a lot of purposes. Some of them have self-hypnosis type programming. They can help you uh, with your motivation. They can help you if you have bad habits that you'd like to get rid of, if you would like to encourage yourself to do more in way of fitness, or whatever it is good habits that you want to build. These videos help you with that. And they have these subliminals. Some of them you can actually hear a human voice or a computerized voice offering affirmations. And then there can be all kinds of sounds in the background, anything from classical music to chanting to nature sounds like thunderstorms or the ocean or rain, all different kinds of things. And I started off with these prosperity videos that I've been playing. Some of them have affirmations by people like Bob Proctor. It's all about being a money magnet. And there's one famous one that I should have memorized by now, but I don't. But I've been using these most nights, and it really does help me not to hear all the dirt bags out my window. But I discovered one channel, and I'm not going to tell you the name of it because I kind of want to wait until I see if these have any effect before I go promoting people carelessly. But one is actually a hypnotist that makes videos. But I was looking last night before I went to bed, I was looking for something that would involve prosperity consciousness, and I couldn't find one on his channel, but there are others that I listen to. But that's definitely something that gives me a source of comfort, if nothing else, because it insulates me, gives me kind of a white noise, insulates me from unpleasant sounds, even though sometimes it's good to know what's going on out there. If you have a chance to rescue some young lady that's being victimized by dirtbags, even though I hate to say it, a lot of the people that are being victimized, they're young, and I wouldn't necessarily call them ladies, but that girl that I uh, called the cops about, that hopefully got rescued from those pimps or dealers or whatever, that was really, I mean, what would you do if somebody looked like they were about 12 and they were being surrounded by big 6 foot tall men, and you're pretty damn sure that none of them was her father, and putting their hands on her, and I thought they were about to force her into a car and gang rape her or something. I don't know exactly what was going on, and I swear I saw bags of crack rocks or whatever. And I did call the cops, and they did come, and hopefully they didn't just find her. Hopefully they found the dirtbags that were abusing her. You know, I mean, I would want somebody to do that for me if I was the unlucky person to be victimized by a bunch of people, or, you know. But all these things going on here, I like to play those videos to blot things out. So, and I know I'm going to have to do something about the lighting situation. I went around all over my apartment earlier today looking for ideal places for filming. And every time I would find a place that would be good in some ways, it was bad in another. Like when I go in one of the bathrooms, it was too close to the alleyway next door. And even though it doesn't have as much dirtbag activity, you could still hear things that would bleed off into the audio. So I couldn't film there. And then when I filmed someplace else in the hallway, I could hear the neighbors in the kitchen. Didn't want to hear their talk on audio. Then I smelled some really good weed in the hallway, and I knew where it was coming from, and I know that where it was coming from was somebody that certainly never shared for me. And when you're wishing you had some and you smell it and it's good stuff, and you know that you're not going to get it anytime soon, it's going to make you feel kind of sad, but, you know, shit happens. So, I don't want to cut back on the schedule that I have chosen, which is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. But on the same token, I'm sure that it's not as satisfying an experience for you guys that are watching if the lighting isn't ideal. When I do my turnaround, the lighting doesn't get on my face. And it was so foggy and overcast today that even if I went outside, I don't know that the light would have been all that good. And I've never really felt like getting all fancy dressed and going out there. And for the most part, it was never really quite safe to leave on either entrance or exit of the building, because there were just too many people loitering about that were the ne'er-do-wells of the building, you know. And I would prefer to not be seen when I'm coming and going. And I misplaced one of my hats. I have to wear, the reason why I've been wearing the knit hat, even though it's kind of hot for knit hats, is because I can't find a hat with a brim on it. And the pink hat that I had, somehow I lost within a couple of block radius, and apparently some of those dirtbags witnessed me losing it. And of course they wouldn't tell me that I dropped it so I could find it, and they had great pleasure in letting me know that the hat was gone. And of course when I asked them where it was, they just laughed. So and brimmed hats not only are good for political statements, depending on what they say, but they also help to shield your face from the sun. So I guess I'm going to be back to carrying umbrellas and stuff. And of course that doesn't work on a sunny day. So those are some of the things I'm dealing with, and those are some of the things that I'm doing. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get my ramp strung, because with this COVID-19, electricians aren't making house calls. I can't afford to go hire a stranger who belongs to a union, even though I would get the best job. I can only imagine what their hourly rate is, and I can guarantee you I can't afford it. And another person who I know who offered to do it for me was the same flake that offered to kick somebody's ass and now seems to have forgotten his promise. And but then again, I imagine because of his health issues, he had some things going on with his heart. But I mean, don't go bragging to me about how violent a temper you have and how you can punch people and you can do this and do that when I finally tell you about something that happened to me that needs to be dealt with, and all of a sudden it's not that important to you. Maybe if I was putting up, then he would care to do it, but because I don't do those kind of things, you know. See, in California, it isn't like that. California, if I had a problem, I would have no shortage of people of all ages and genders and what have you that would say, Leather, that shit ain't right. Tell me who it is, I'll take care of it. And then if I hear something happening, don't worry your little head off. New Jersey, forget about it. I don't have those kind of friends. You know, if I could find someplace else to be but here, I would in a heartbeat. I mean, and now with this neighborhood getting worse and worse, I don't see how I could soundproof this room. I would need to get better lighting. And I know I could go on wish.com and I could buy lights, but you know, with Wish, as good a site as it is, everything has a shipping charge. And fragile things getting in the mail, and plus with my package delivery, you never know. You don't usually get a choice in what the carrier is going to be. Some, like FedEx, never get it right. You would think that they would have your name and address in the system and a phone number and specific instructions that this is where the entrance is, but they hire a lot of people that I'm convinced really don't want to do their jobs. Because if you're conscientious and you want to do your job well, there wouldn't be so many screw-ups. So unless my mail carrier happens to be the USPS, who knows where the mailbox is and they know where the doorbell is and all that jazz. But these other carriers, uh, you know, it's every time you have to make all these phone calls, and it ends up taking me a full week before I get my packages. So that's the one thing that sucks about mail order stuff. But in order for me to up the quality of the videos, I'm going to need to improve my lighting. Now, I still am going to get the lavalier microphone. But of course, that's going to take a month. But, and the thing is, I don't want to, because the COVID-19 is going on, I don't want to ask around and have people in a position where they're worried about close contact and stuff. But the lighting does suck, and I hope it doesn't adversely affect how you guys are watching my videos. I'm even looking at my reflection on screen here, and it looks kind of grainy. This is quite a low resolution built-in webcam. I had bought a decent clip-on webcam a couple years ago, and I only used it twice because it made my hair look really, really blue. Now, my hair is so faded and my roots are out to here, so it might not look that bad. But maybe I should try it again. Maybe at least it'll make the color look better and things will be clearer until I can get the lamp fixed and stuff. And you know, every time I try to go to Dollar Tree or the dollar store, I always get there too late. So, but I am aware of the technical imperfections in my videos, and I am trying to do something about it. And if you guys bear with me, things will get better. I keep telling myself that. So I know I'm rambling. Thank you for watching as long as you did. Cassie is gone down the hall. Tally boy, he was hiding under my bed the whole time, and he went on down the hall. So I don't have my cats here for the sign off. So if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, love to have you subscribe. If you do, hit that bell so it looks like it's ringing, and that way you won't miss anything. I will talk to you soon. Bye.